You're going to want to hear what LA Knight just said about The Rock in this video. I'm going to tell you what he said because LA Knight, The Rock, there's been a lot of talk about these two guys. Why? Well, many people think that LA Knight is a quote-unquote ripoff or a wannabe version of The Rock due to the way that he sounds, due to the way that he cuts his promos. A lot of people for years have compared LA Knight to a mixture of The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin, and I can understand the comparison, but it's really more about The Rock. I mean, several months ago, WWE Hall of Famer Kevin Nash, he caught a lot of flack from a lot of fans because of his comments about The Rock. Even more recently, everyone's favorite Dave Meltzer noted that he thought it's weird to have LA Knight do a promo segment on the same show that a Rock promo segment happened, and especially after, because it's like we just saw the quote-unquote real thing, and then you have a quote-unquote knockoff version of it afterwards. I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically what he was talking about. Look, does LA Knight sound like The Rock? Yeah. Is he The Rock? Of course not. I don't think he's trying to be The Rock. I think he has taken elements of The Rock, and I think, just like anyone, I mean, you can go down the line of people who have emulated others that come before them. They've taken pieces that they think have worked and made those people successful, and then they took it and put it into their own way. They spun it their own way. And when you have someone like The Rock back on television, he's one of the greatest stars of all time. So when he's doing a promo segment, he's also doing it unscripted, and he's also doing it with a lot more freedom and a I don't give a crap mentality. Of course, he's gonna have a better promo segment than LA Knight. And of course, he's going to do better than what LA Knight could do or what he could say, to the point where WWE recently issued a memo reminding talent, just because The Rock is cursing on television and on social media doesn't mean that you can. Although they did, as a one-off, allow Cody Rhodes to do a shoot work promo that was mostly unscripted. That's the way it came across on The Rock on Monday Night Raw. So, The Rock was in headlines a few weeks ago by talking about how he thinks that wrestling is cool again. And it is. And WWE's business is on fire. Whether you look at it from merchandise sales, attendance, gates, revenues, obviously not television ratings, but television has changed. But I won't go down that rabbit hole. So, while appearing on Busted Open Radio to promote WrestleMania, keep in mind LA Knight, he is slated to work a match with AJ Styles at WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia this April. This is what he had to say about the mindset of a current star when a legend like The Rock returns to the company is on television week in, week out. He said, I think you can look at it both ways. Like you said, you're looking at one of the most recognizable faces in the world as far as television, movies, media in general. So there is something to be added there. I guess at the same time, you do have to look at your audience and say, hey, look, we're moving in this direction. The audience wants this, and now to do this is going to look self-serving. It's probably going to peeve a lot of people off. So there's a different ways of looking at it. My personal opinion, without going too deep into this, is that there is some merit to having him there. At the same time, we're doing very well selling out and all that other stuff even without him. So he can only add to it, or I guess some people could say he could only take away from it. You never know. But as far as business is concerned, business is good. It was good with him. It's been good without him. It's been good either way. I hear him say wrestling is cool again, and he's right. But I just want to make sure that everybody knows that it has started to get cool again. I'm going to say about 6 or 7 months before he got here, end quote. Wow. Okay, so a lot to break down there. First of all, is LA Knight right about his comments about The Rock? About how wrestling was cool before The Rock got there and is cool now that The Rock is back? Yes. Yes. Wrestling has been cool ever since Triple H took over main roster creative from Vince McMahon in the summer of 2022 from a WWE product standpoint. AEW had a hot streak in late 2019 when they launched, and early 2020, and then the pandemic really took them a hit. But even during the pandemic, AEW was a much hotter product. They were a hotter product in 2021. But then once Triple H took over, and it was ironically around the same time where July-ish, August, so you had Triple H take over main roster creative in July, I believe. Could have been June. And then you have the all-out brawl-out with CM Punk and the Elite in August, or basically early September. That was when it shifted. And that's when the momentum that AEW had went to WWE. Does WWE need The Rock right now? No. No, they do not. Are they better off for having The Rock on television and on social and on YouTube and all these other platforms? Yes. He is the biggest Hollywood actor in the world. Whether you like him personally, whether you like his movies, whether you like his promos, whether you like his work in the ring. He is the biggest star right now in Hollywood. He is the biggest star in pro wrestling right now. He just is. Anytime The Rock comes back to WWE, he is the biggest star on television. Maybe outside of Stone Cold Steve Austin. Maybe. But The Rock has a presence. He brings something different when he is on WWE television. I always compared it as when The Rock is on television, you have something special. When you have Steve Austin on television, you have something unpredictable. One is not better than the other. Not one is worse than the other. It's just different. Either way, both stars are great. Both stars are two of the greatest and biggest pro wrestling stars in the history of the wrestling business. So, when you have a guy like LA Knight, who had a surge of popularity in 2023. Jesus, I'm going back 10 years. I think he was in TNA at the time. Either way, when you go to 2023, he had a surge of popularity. As I covered this on the channel before, he lost that popularity in my eyes when he lost to Roman Reigns in November at Crown Jewel for the Undisputed WWE Universal title. Could have been late October. Either way, in late 2023, he lost that momentum, and he's trying to gain that back. And I hope that WWE and I hope that Triple H can get him back on track, because he was hands down their hottest, outside of Roman Reigns, their hottest male star. And he could be that once again with proper booking.